All right, this video is going to kind of quickly tell you what you need to do for Unit 4, Lesson 4. This is the make assignment. All right, so this is the one. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to really show you anything that you need to do. The whole idea behind these makes, they're usually going to be two levels. The first level, they're going to give you an app. All right, what they want you to do is kind of run this app, see how it works. On the second lesson or level, they are going to ask you to recreate this app on your own. All right, so if we run this app, I can see there's some UI here. There's a thumbs down and a thumbs up along with a likes. All right, so if I click the thumb up, I can see that it's adding one to the like each time I click it. It's also playing a sound. If I click the thumb down, it is subtracting one each time from the likes. I can see that there's a comment in there already, but if I add a comment and click the blue button, it's going to add my comment to the comment section, right? So it's not getting rid of the original comment, it's going to keep adding to it. All right, if I add another one, and you'll see it's using that new line break to add those comments. So what you need to do is kind of think about what this app's doing and what you're going to need to make this work. All right, so if I am looking at this, my thought are, I've got a thumbs down button that's doing something, I've got a thumbs up button that's doing something, and I have a blue comment button that's doing something. So my thought is each one of these is going to need an on event. All right, I'm going to have to listen for this button click and then have some code to do something. So obviously if I click this thumbs up button, I'm probably going to have to use that counter pattern to add one to a variable that I'm going to create, probably called likes. So I'm going to create a variable called likes. I'm going to set it equal to a value, most likely 0. And then anytime this event happens, I can use that counter pattern to add 1. Or if the thumbs down, I'm going to use the counter pattern to subtract 1, right? So one event for the thumbs down, one event for the thumbs up. I'm also going to have a third on event for this blue comment button so that when I type a comment in here, I can use that get text command that I learned. I can concatenate those strings together using the counter pattern and that new line break to add the new comment to my existing comments. All right. One thing that I do want you to notice when I add a comment here, I think this app has a bug. Even though this is their working version of the app, something did not happen that I expected it to, and basically they did not delete my comment. All right. So my thoughts are when I'm doing this and I'm working on this on event for this comment button, not only am I going to get the text from this element, use that string concatenation and new line break to add it to a variable that's storing all of my comments. I also want to make sure I'm going to set the text over here to an empty string so that this empties back out. So now that we've kind of played with this app, talked it through, we're going to look at lesson 2 and see what they're giving us, right? So when you're doing these makes, sometimes they're going to give you nothing. Sometimes they're going to give you maybe the UI design but no code. There's a few times where they're going to give you the UI. They're going to give you a little bit of the code, but you're going to have to code most of it, right? Because remember, this is kind of your chance to show me that you understand variables, along with everything that you learned in Unit 3. So we can see they gave us the UI, they gave us the button, they even named the buttons, right? So we have proper IDs. We don't have to worry about renaming our elements or anything like that. What we do need to do is add some code over here to get this all working. So to help you with this, when you are looking at Unit 4, Lesson 4 on Canvas, you're going to see a link to an activity guide. You're also going to see a link to a planning guide. All right, so the activity guide. I am not requiring you to do the planning guide, or sorry, the activity guide. I am giving it to you as a reference to help you do this. So I strongly suggest that you use it. but you will not be turning this into me. But what it's going to do, it's going to kind of tell you the goal. It's going to walk you through step by step what you should be doing. So it's kind of nice because it gives you a picture of the app. It's telling you the element IDs for each one of the elements that you have to deal with on the screen. And it's kind of walking you through what you're going to need to code, right? So this first one is fill in the information on the table for the event handler, right? And they're kind of giving you a clue. They gave you 3 spots, which kind of tells you you're going to need 3 on events, right? Which we talked about. 1 for the down, 1 for the up, and then 1 for the comment. So you should list in here, hey, when the up button is clicked, what's going to happen, right? I'm going to add 1 to my likes variable when the up button is clicked, right? Just something. Can't spell today. All right, so you should fill this in for the down button, also for this comment button, just to kind of get your on events. Again, we're planning what we need to do before we code, which is an important point. I don't know if I've mentioned that up till this part, but just sitting down and coding is a bad way to do it. The more you plan, the better idea you have before you start coding, the easier it's going to be to code. It's just like writing an essay. You shouldn't just sit down and start writing your essay. You need to kind of plan out your paragraphs, what your topic's going to be, all of that. All right, so in here, you're going to, again, think through this. What variables do you need? So what are you going to name them? What's it going to store? And then they kind of walk you through the steps of how to write this. Okay, so if you follow these steps, you should be in a pretty good spot. You should be able to get most of it done. You'll see that they list these extension ideas, which honestly gets to the point that I was making earlier, that I don't think the app, the way they gave it to you, is fully complete. I think you need to empty that text input out. So they are listing this as an extension idea. I am telling you, I don't see this as an extension. I see this as something that you need to do. So if you want full credit on this, make sure that when you add a comment and click this blue button, not only is your comment showing up over here on a new line, this is also being emptied out so that as a user, I can just type in another comment. I don't have to delete the comment that I typed the first time. And then these are some check boxes that you can use just to kind of, as you get things done, check it off. All right, so this activity guide helps you, it walks you through it, it helps you plan stuff. You don't have to turn it in, but I strongly suggest that you use it. So if we were doing this in class, right, if this was not an online course and you were actually in class with me, I do not give the students this activity guide. We actually do a lesson where I walk through the app with them and they build their own steps, right? So I'm kind of guiding them along the way, but they are creating their own planning guide with these steps. So the reason I make this optional is because it helps you, but you're not in class with me. So it's hard for me to walk you through how to do this. So what I'm doing is the planning guide that I'm giving you on Unit 4, Lesson 4. This is the planning guide that I essentially developed with my students last year. All right, so this is just a different version of this. But this is the way that I explained it to the class. And you'll notice things like making sure the input gets emptied. That's just part of one of the steps. But if you were to kind of go through and just line by line, you know, it says we got our variables. I'm going to need a likes variable. I want it to start at 0. If you look at this and then you make that a line of code, you know, make this a line of code so that it starts off correctly, make this a line of code, you're pretty much going to get the app written exactly the way it should be. All right. You just need to know how to do this in the coding language JavaScript. So that's pretty much it for this video. All right. So what I am looking for when I grade this, and I probably grade this one harder than any other of the lessons that we've done so far, the makes are always where you're showing me that you understand it. I am going to come in, I'm going to run your app, and I'm going to make sure that everything works exactly as it should, right? So if I click the thumb up, I should be adding likes, thumb down should remove likes. When your app first loads, it should say, oh my God, so cute. right? Which is kind of one of these things. Create a variable called comments and set it equal to this string to start. If I add a new comment, you should be using the new line break. I should see all the comments from this one to the new one to the next one. This should be getting emptied out. As you're clicking, I should be hearing the sounds. All of that will lead you to getting the better grades. All right, so good luck with this. And as always, if you have any questions or need help, come by my room. It's 624. Otherwise, good luck, and I will see you at your weekly check-in.